Hello everyone, welcome back to Threes to Wound. It's been a hot minute since we've had a bat rep, but they're back, baby. They are officially back, and I'm so excited to bring these to you. As you can see behind me, there's some baby prisons, new dad, new life. So things have been very, very hectic for the last little bit, but finally finding a little bit of time to claw back and hopefully get back into doing some consistent or at least semi-regular bat reps for you guys that, I mean, at least some of you may have enjoyed them. I'm not sure. I can't be sure, but I enjoy making them, so hold on to your butts. Today's bat rep sees me piloting the Farstalker Kinband. Yes, the Kroot. There's a little bit of excitement about these guys with Games Workshop announcing some new models, and this will be the second game I've had piloting them. So if you are a big hardcore Kroot player, apologies in advance. I'm doing my darndest with them, but they're a tricksy team. They've got a few different little bits and pieces that make them very powerful, lots of utility, but they are still quite squishy if you get them a bit out in the open. So we'll see how I go remembering all their little tricks and plays. And today I'm going up against good old Commander Jim, a good friend of mine. He'll be piloting the Strike Force Justian. So it's been a little while since he's played Kill Team. He played the last edition and a little bit of this early one, but then he's been spending a lot more time in Big Boy 40K. But I've managed to reel him back in, brought him back down to earth to where the real game is. We're playing some Kill Team. So there's a little bit of coaching getting him back into this, which, mind you, he didn't need much. He does a very good job. But of course, it meant that for me, between filming the bat rep and the two teams and we're learning it all, we may miss a few things here and there. So be kind in the comments. We do our best to catch everything we can. Now, before we get started, you know it's the mandatory. Please like and subscribe this channel just so you can stay up to date with what episodes are dropping, what new things are happening, what's going on with the channel, all that good stuff. Plus, it really does go a long way to supporting me as well, so I really, really appreciate it. But let's go now, jump in and check out the mission and the teams. Today's mission is from the Critical Ops deck. We've got number 5 Battleground for the deployment of the objectives, and we're playing loot, so we'll need to get operatives onto those objectives, spend an AP to loot them, and each objective can be looted a maximum of 4 times. Let's roll the first dice of the game to see who's going to be the attacker and the defender. And we will roll, so this is for defender attacker. Oh, not a good start.
Oh, no.
Try again.
That needs to be in there.
Yay! All right, so you get to choose as a defender or attacker. Strike Force Justian with the first win of the day. They will be taking defender and setting up on the right side of the screen. Now, time to show off the wonderful Farstalker Kinband here. The team I'm taking today is a little bit of a combination of things I'd like and also things I built. Leading the squad is the Kill Broker. He's got the Pulse Carbine, and I'm also giving him the Trophy Equipment, which gives him an extra APL once per game. Then we've got the Bow Hunter. I've also given him the same thing. I've given him a trophy as well. He can't use it in the same turn as the Kill Broker, but again, another opportunity to maybe get him up onto advantage point or take advantage to steal an objective. We've got the Cold Blood. The Cut Skin also jumps in here. This is an operative I'm pretty excited about. He's got some sneaky abilities to deal out mortal wounds in close combat. So I've also given him the meat equipment. So if he can manage to kill someone and then get into another combat, hopefully he won't die in one shot. My heavy gunner choice here, I am taking the Skinner. I just think a sort of over-the-top powered multi-flamer beast thing is pretty potent. I've got 2 GA2 Hounds, the Long Sight, Pistolier, Tracker, and then I've got 2 warriors. One with the rifle, who I've given piercing shot equipment to make him a little bit more potent, and then the warrior with the scatter gun, which is basically a shotgun. For Strike Force Justian, there's only the 6 operatives, but each of them packs an absolute wallop, and they lean very heavily into the biggest thing, or the biggest weakness that the Kroot have, and that is AP. I don't have much. These guys have a lot of armor, so a lot of armor, a lot of wounds. Captain Justian himself is leading the squad. This guy is really handy in the sense that he also generates extra CP for them each turn. I know I'm already not great at managing CP, but the idea of my opponent having more than me doesn't fill me with hope. He's also got a power fist and a plasma pistol with the ability to fight twice. This guy's going to be a major target for me. If I can get him off the board early, I'll be feeling really good. Next up is Sergeant Marius. He's got the bolt rifle hitting on 2s with P1 on the crits, and again, an ability to shoot twice. So this guy's going to be throwing a lot of lead downfield. Brother Flavian, he's the sniper expert. Something I want to watch out for is he's got the hyper frag round, which is the ability to have basically a blast sniper bullet. So I'm going to be making sure I don't bunch my guys up around him. Brother Acules, he's the heavy bolter man. Again, another ability to shoot twice, P1 on the crits and dealing 4-5 damage. So anytime he gets 2 regular hits through, that's killing a Kroot. Brother Vignus is next. He's got the auto bolt rifle with Ceaseless, but again, the ability to shoot twice. And last is Brother Decian. He's the close combat expert. He's got Shock Assault, the ability to fight twice. One of the good things for me with these guys is they don't have any equipment. Everything they have is said on the tin. It's in their data sheet or in their strategic and tactical ploys. Makes them a little bit easier to predict. There's not as many things you're not expecting, not as many gotcha moments, but also if you're the general of them, it really helps to limit the things you have to worry about, things you have to think about, which means you can concentrate on playing the game to the best of your ability. There's a whole bunch here that doesn't play well for the Kroot. These guys have 3 APL, so they're going to be dominating and controlling objectives. They've got the ability to steal them out from underneath me if I'm not paying attention. Let's see how the Kroot can deal with it. Maneuverability is key for the Kroot here, so that's why I decided to go with the Recon Tac-Up. I've gone for recover item as I've got the Kroot hounds who can really push up and get that hopefully earlier. Courier is another good one which I might be able to attach to one of those hounds or another operative if they can sneak up the flanks. And speaking of flanks, I've also got outflank, wanting to push my operatives up past that middle part of the board. I am a little bit worried about Kill Team Justian's ability to hold up a lot of the board. They're such strong, tough bodies that if they decide to play on that outer part of the board, I'm going to really struggle to shift them, and this may make scoring some of these secondaries hard. But a lot of them do stack, so if the opportunity is there, I've just got to grab them. I definitely considered taking Seek and Destroy. I find it one of the easier ones to play. You know, a lot of the time it just ties into what you're trying to do anyway, but I'm just not confident enough in the Kroot's ability to kill Space Marines. You can see the barricade deployment here for mine, just making sure I had a little bit of cover to push forward. Also wanted to put that one in the middle there so I had a little bit more play so I could hopefully get into those center objectives earlier. For deployment here, I was definitely super defensive here, and in retrospect probably could have afforded to be much more aggressive, especially once I saw more of my opponent's operatives were in conceal. There wasn't really going to be much shooting, and I really needed to take this first turn to take advantage of my mobility and speed. So definitely, retrospect, looking back, I definitely wish I had been a bit more aggressive with my guys. Deployment's definitely one of those phases that I think is underrated, and I know I need to get better at. You can really win or lose a game in your deployment. So going forward, it's actually paying attention to what your opponent is doing, whether their operatives are in engage or conceal. These things really matter to what you should be doing, not just putting your guys in a spot so they don't die. It's also about making sure they have the best opportunity they can to score early. The last thing before the action kicks off is always the scouting step. Both of us here deciding to go with recon, wanting that free dash to get our guys in aggressive positions. Thanks to that wonderful addition of the keyword fly to this dash, I was able to get my long shot up onto that vantage point. Commander Jim took this opportunity to push up Captain Justinian behind the wall there. This means the Kroot will have the initiative. Let's get to fighting. The command phase is kicking off here, and I'm spending 1 CP for bound. This is hopefully going to give my Kroot lots of extra movement and mobility around the map. Obviously letting them ignore the first distance of circle when climbing or traversing. I've also put out their recover item. I'm just going to drop this right as close to the center line as I can. It was at about this time that I realized I'd probably been a touch too defensive with my deployment. Even my Kroot hounds with their extra mobility were really going to struggle to get to this early in the first turn. The Space Marines, with everything in conceal, decided to save their CP and also had no tac ops to declare. They also did gain their extra CP thanks to the captain. With a howl or a bark or whatever it is the Kroot hounds actually do, I selected both of them with GA2, getting them to run the full length of the board, hopefully being able to snag that recover item in the next turn. The Space Marines, not here to muck around, got straight into business. Sergeant Marius stormed forward, landing on the objective and then looting it for 1 VP. Not wanting to get left behind on the scoreboard so early, the Kroot warrior with the scattergun stormed forward himself and claimed an objective. Brother Vignis, becoming aware of the Kroot lurking in the shadows up ahead, ran forward and took some cover. Sensing the time was right, the bow hunter, thanks to Bound, was able to move up onto the vantage point and take aim at Sergeant Marius.
Hitting on 3s. All right. So that is 2 crits, a reg, and a miss. I'm not gonna re-roll. Oh no, wait, it's on 4s, isn't it? So it's just 2 crits. Oh, bang. So you've saved that, so it means 1 crit goes through. Oh no, it's double. That's double.
So for some inexplicable reason there, I decided to take a hit away from myself. The bowman is hitting on 3s, not 4s, but hey, I don't think it's going to have too much of an effect on the game overall. After seeing that insipid performance in the shooting phase, Brother Acule was obviously no longer perturbed and worried too much about heading forwards, and he did just that. Unfortunately for him, he did fall just short of the objective. Suffering your jocks. I did also forget to mention that I did place the call to kill from my kill broker at the start of the turn on Brother Acule. Starting to see a little bit of a pattern here with the Marines just walking me down. I decided to get a little bit more offensive, or at least set myself up to be a bit more offensive in the next turn when things could shoot. And I moved my Pistolier just under that vantage point there to hopefully jump out and do some double shoot shenanigans in later turning points. Brother Decian needed to get up close and personable to have an impact in the game, so he ran forwards and booped an objective on the way. Seeing another opportunity to grab another vantage point was too good to pass up, so I chose the Cold Blood, and thanks to Bound was able to move him up and setting up a good sniping nest up on that vantage point. The Marines were fast running out of operatives to activate, but they still had plenty of options. Captain Justian slamming forwards, grabbing an objective and adding to their VP tally. With a loud, what I can only assume sounds like an angry chicken noise, the Petra flew away from the tracker and moved up the battlefield to start spotting some Marines. It was at this point that I realized I'd made a huge deployment error, again, with my tracker. As the APL battery for my team, I really should have had him a lot more central. Being right on that far flank, it was going to be very difficult to be able to get him back into a spot to be able to deal out that APL where I need it. He only has a 6-inch or pentagon range with it. I'll work it out. To start fixing the problem as quick as possible, I did move him back towards the center of the battlefield and he was able to throw 1 extra APL at the Pistolier. Brother Flavor Flav was the last of the Marines to activate here, and thanks to his special ignoring obscure rule, he was able to actually get a shot at my Kroot warrior with the scattergun.
I've got 1 save, 2 saves. 2 are going through because AP1 I don't roll the 3rd save dice.
So Brother Flavian was able to get 6 wounds through there. Not too great, not too bad for the sniper. Commander Jim did also choose to spend a CP for the reroll, which did help push through a little bit of extra damage. Rogue definitely seemed like it was going to be very powerful for the Kroot in this matchup. If I can keep my guys in cover, being able to retain 2 normal saves or turning one of those into a crit could be huge to keeping my squishy boys alive. Back to the Kroot, and a little bit of a mismeasure at the start of the game has now shown me I can't actually get to that objective at the top of the board on my side of the table and boop it this turn. Really, really disappointing. A little bit rookie, but because of that scramble terrain that's right there, it was really just forcing that distance a little bit further and not enough trickery I can do to get around it. So now I know there's no Overwatch coming, I'm pushing that guy there and hopefully he can grab that first thing next turn if I get initiative. Thanks to there being no Overwatch, the Kroot Hour of Power continued. Next up was the Kroot Longsight, and he was going to be able to take a cheeky shot here at Captain Justian, and I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty excited about the prospect of getting some mortal wounds through that he won't be able to use his invul or his armor save against.
Longsight, okay, so this is 4 shots on 2s. I've got the same as you, I've got mortal wound 3. And lethal 5 up, so that's pretty potent. 4 shots hitting on 2s into Captain Cheese Weasel. Cheese for 2s. Oh wow, speaking of rolls that are rubbish. Yeah, not great, because you're gonna get 1 for cover. It's the long sight, no crits. Lethal 5 up. No, I didn't even get a 5 to get any mortal wounds. So I'm doing it. I'm spending 2 CP.
Oh.
I'm re-rolling both.
Go, mate, go.
2. Oh, so I go down to 1. Because I'm a madman, and I want to get some damage through on him. There we go. At least I got a crit and another hit. So there's 3 mortal wounds you will take automatically. You'll retain 1 save automatically, and then you need 2 3-ups because there's no AP on this. Cool.
Look at me spending CP like there isn't a cost of living crisis going on right now. I just don't care. I'm just a madman. Getting 6 wounds off the captain there is huge though. I would have loved 1 or 2 more crits just to push through some more mortal wounds, but as we see there, Space Marine armor still holds true. For the final 2 activations of the turning point, my Kill Broker and my Heavy Gunner both just pass, remaining in cover. I've got some plans with them in the next turn, and I just don't want them to get sniped early doors. I also have a feeling that Commander Jim may have Headhunter, so I'm not going to make that too easy for him. So an event-filled, uneventful turn 1. Although there wasn't too much shooting, only a few little bits and pieces there, I think the main thing that I took out of the first turn was, well, we touched on it a bit, deployment. To be heading into the second turning point 3-1 down on a loot objective is not great. Although the Space Marines definitely have an advantage, having that extra APL, their ability to move, dash, and then still loot the objective is hugely helpful. With a little bit of forward thinking and a bit more planning, the fact that I was playing loot, I definitely could have been in a position to grab more of those objectives. Especially as I knew that my opponent, or that I could see that most of the time my opponent was in conceal and was probably not going to be doing too much shooting. I could have been a lot more aggressive, pushed up the board and had a bit more of that central control, especially because it's going to lead into a lot of my attack ops in Recon. I may be fighting a bit of an uphill battle here to get those points back, but also now to be able to get my units in a position to score my secondaries. Let's jump into turning point 2 and see what the hell am I going to do.
Oh, you needed the 6. Oh, that could be big. That could be big.
And with the big roll of a 6, it'll be the Kroot who have the initiative. I chose to do Prey for 1 CP here. This is something I'll promptly forget, I can guarantee you. While the Space Marines have decided to go for Devastator Doctrine to increase their long range shooting, I've placed Call to Kill here on the captain, hoping to wipe him out very, very quickly. On to Tac Ops, and I've done Outflank here, hoping I can maybe sneak an operative or 2 past the line of Marines here and hopefully score me a few VP. While for the Space Marines, I was correct, they've got Seek and Destroy. They've decided to double down with Marine Flavor Flav being their executioner and targeting the Kroot on the objective straight ahead, who will also be their Eliminate Guards target as well. Having the initiative can be both a gift and a curse. I was definitely struggling with what to do with the first activation. My big thought process was I knew that the Kroot on the top objective there was worth at least 2 victory points for my opponent. So originally I did think about playing quite defensively and running him away, hiding him and denying my opponent 2 points. But then I wanted to be a bit more aggressive, and I thought, what's another way I can also deny them points before potentially they score those 2? Now I'm saying that out loud, that doesn't make much sense, but go with me here. I selected that operative, threw him forward onto the middle objective there, and then used for 1 CP Poach, and was able to actually steal the objective out from underneath Captain Justian there. I knew this Kroot guy was going to die, but I thought this was a bit of a cheeky way to mean that it's harder now for my opponent to score these middle objectives or the primaries, and that also means they're going to have to keep pushing up and moving their operatives either onto closer objectives or forward towards my operatives, which is kind of what I wanted. Whether or not this was the right decision, denying 2 versus scoring 1, there is a bit of a swing there that doesn't quite add up, but that was a decision I went with. Commander Jim, as expected, took his opportunity to score some points here and gunned down my poor Kroot warrior.
They all hit no crits.
Oh!
Still not a guarantee.
No.
So what I will do, I'll take 3 of them. I will re-roll this 2 for a CP.
Do it.
Well, makes no difference.
Yep.
But worth a try fishing for the extra 3 wounds.
That's
guarantee
it.
it.
5 up
2
saves. Not a 1. Damn it.
As was predicted, this scored my opponent 2 VP for Eliminate Guards and Executioner. Time to get some revenge with the rootinest, tootinest Kroot around. The Pistolier charging forwards, claiming the objective, and taking some shots at the big captain just standing in the middle of nowhere.
4 shots, hitting on 3s. You are in range, it's only Pentagon range. Balanced, lethal 5 up. That is... that is not ideal.
That's terrible.
Oh.
It's terrible.
I can re-roll 1 thanks to balance. I'm using your dice, that's where it went wrong.
Obviously.
That's...
So you've instinctively...
It's a crit! It's a crit!
Cool. Sorry.
Well, look, he had a good run and he scored me a VP.
Sergeant Marius, trying to hide the smirk on his face, watching the terrible Kroot shooting continue, he stormed forward and said, "I'll show you how to swing," as he punched into one of the Kroot hounds.
4 to 3, yep. That's pretty gross.
You've got CP.
I will spend 2 CP.
Oh, double CP! He wants death.
I kind of need to kill it.
Yeah, fair.
So,
It's paid off. All right. So I'll roll mine. I've got 4 3+, 3 4 rending. So if I get a crit, I can turn another normal hit into a crit with rending.
That's pretty good.
Oh, so I get 2 crits, turn that into a crit, and a hit.
I got the bloodlust up, and I'm not a big fan of dogs, right? So the crit can go through.
Crit goes through.
4 damage.
4 damage. So my dog has. I'll keep a little tag. He's got 3 wounds left. I'm assuming your normals do 3.
They do. Yes.
Yep. So basically, no matter what, I can't stop you killing me with your next hit. So I think you've made the right call. I'll damage you for 4 with one of my crits.
Cool.
So you'll go down to 903, and then you kill me.
Yep.
Oh.
Somebody call Peter or the RSPCA because Sergeant Marius is not done bullying some dogs. He's got in his sights the other Kroot hound.
Ow.
Well. Oh.
Even with a really decent save roll there, unfortunately, there was nothing that could be done for the doggo. Sergeant Marius's reign of canine terror would continue. Revenge would have to wait. Sergeant Marius was a problem for a later day. Right now, I had to take the opportunity that had presented itself after the Pistolier's huge failure. The Cutskin was going to have a chance to get in there and, fingers crossed, do some damage to the captain.
So 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, balanced again, my favorite. Lethal 5 up. He's got meat, vicious duelist, and basically any fails that you have when you roll to attack result in a mortal wound. Yeah,
That's a big deal.
it's really awful again.
Real.
Oh.
Reroll both those for balance, though.
Jesus. All right, that's technically
that's a crit.
that's 2 crits.
Oh, it's 2 crits.
It's 2 because it's lethal 5 up.
So I
So
got
2
5 in
crits.
that, so you got 3.
Oh
Yeah,
god,
no.
think of the children.
Yeah. Well, that's not great.
So 2 mortal wounds currently, because 2 fails.
Yeah, so I will spend... Does that count if I CP reroll them still?
No, because then that's a different result, not a fail. Yeah.
Spend points.
So 1 mortal wound.
No crits.
You'll take a mortal wound,
Yep.
which will
So
take you
to
down
8.
to 8
Yep.
for your own inadequacies. Then I'll hit you with a crit,
Yep.
which is 4. You'll power fist me in the face.
5.
Yep, for 5, so I go down to
So you
3.
kill me.
It looks like I didn't think I was going to,
Yeah,
but it
you
looks
kill me.
like I will.
Damn.
And then
man.
you've got 4 wounds left.
Yep, which...
Crit.
It was a victory no one saw coming, but I'll certainly take it. I'm definitely regretting not taking Seek and Destroy right now, I can tell you that much. That would have been 2 big ones for Headhunter. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Unless you're a Space Marine, then it's pretty much instantaneous. The Assault Marine cannoning into the Cutskin.
So 4 attacks on 4s for me. I'll just chuck them in. Alright. And I got balanced and lethal 5 up. So 2 crits so far. And I'll just re-roll 1 for balanced.
Wow.
That is 3 mortal wounds. You will have got 2 hits versus my 2 crits. So you can't parry. So you would
Close kill.
attack. which kills me for... Yep, because it's 3 damage. So my crits mean nothing, but you take 3 missiles.
Unfortunately, the Cutskin never got to use his meat equipment, so no chance to heal, so a pretty one-sided fight there. But getting 3 cheeky mortal wounds into that deal wasn't too bad. The best part is, now the Assault Marine has stepped into my trap. My heavy gunner, who's been lying in wait, has an opportunity to pounce.
So 6 attacks, hitting on 2s. 2 fails for you, mate.
You're rolling garbage. Cool.
Saved. All right, so we'll take that one out. So that is a crit, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage.
So 7 wounds off the Assault Marine, not quite what I was hoping for. I was really wanting a second kill there. That would have really put me in a strong position. But dice are dice for a reason, and unfortunately, I managed to roll 2 1s. Seeing his brethren under threat, Brother Acule decided to lumber forward and deal out some hurt to that pistolier.
I will lose one thing, so automatically lose 1. What's the damage? 4, 5. So it's doing 9 damage. I need 1, 5 to stay alive. But you can probably shoot twice, can't you? Oh, the big dog. He's got 8, so he's got 4 left. Is that the same again?
Pretty much, yeah.
But I think I'm in the situation here. I need to save both,
Yeah, you need to save both
to stay alive.
So 2 5 to 6 is good.
Easy. I'm
Strange
owed. I'm owed. Oh! No, it's not, because it's not a crit save.
Oh, yes.
So, I blocked 1, but the crit still goes through. Dang it!
So the pistolier did go down, but at least he took both rounds of the shooting from the heavy bolter. It's not much, but I'll definitely take it. It probably kept another operative alive, or at least still in the fight. Next up, the Birdman Kroot went, activating his bird and moving it forward towards the Marines, before moving forward himself and giving an extra APL to the Kroot warrior. Marine Vigner showed off his versatility here with the dash, a loot, and then climbing over the terrain to push forward towards the Kroot. This will definitely put him in a dangerous spot for some Overwatch coming up. The long sight now had the opportunity to put an end to Assault Marine Justian.
So this is the long shot, 4 attacks, hitting on 2s. Let's see that good dice rolling continue. Mortal wounds 3, lethal 5 up, and silence. Alright, so 1 set of mortal wounds. So 3's down to 3 already. I've had 1 miss. Nothing I can do about that.
It's possible. Like
So Assault Marine Justian is down, and things are looking pretty good for the Kroot right now. The kill to death ratio is definitely swinging in favor of the Kroot, but my opponent here has done a fantastic trick. Although all his operatives have now been activated, he was smart enough to put his sniper into engage mode, so he's now going to get an Overwatch attack, and he's targeting the heavy gunner.
But I'll have 2 cover saves, because I ignore your ignore cover, and I don't roll a 3rd dice. Smart move, giving yourself the extra Overwatch. Okay, cool. So drop 1. You've got mortal wounds 3 there. All right. So it looks like it's basically the crit, and the mortal wounds plus the normal crit damage will go through by the looks of it.
The heavy gunner just survives on 2 wounds left, which is crazy considering he had 2 saves already locked in. Amazing how much damage those mortal wounds can help sneak through. But now it was my turn to do my own sniping shenanigans with the bowman.
But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go loud, so I'm going to swap to... I'm not going to go silent.
Hello. I like it.
Going to risk it for the biscuit.
Let's go.
And so this is now meaning he's going to have AP 1. So 4 attacks on 3s, but he's signing his own death warrant with the
cool.
Wookiee bowcaster. 4 attacks on 3s, AP 1. All right, not terrible. No other specials. Cool. All right, so I got a crit and 2 hits.
Cool.
You'll roll 2 save dice looking for 3s. Now, and you're not in cover? No, you will get 1 for cover because I can't see your whole base. Yep, so.
So 1 to there.
Yep, so.
So I roll 1.
Save. So just
crit.
the crit goes through, but it's not too. I'll take that's 5 damage.
So the gamble didn't really pay off there, unfortunately. I was hoping if I could take out another Marine, get them down to only 3 models left on the board, I might really be in a strong position heading into those last 2 turns. Marine saves and me missing one of those shots really hurts there. Now to cop some more Overwatch. Speaking of Overwatch, brother Akul was happy to help, and he lined up the heavy gunner once again.
4s. That's pretty good.
Look, I don't think there's anything I can do
Take that.
because I can auto retain 1 crit,
Yep.
and then now I'll need a crit. I'll need a 5 and a 6 again. I'm finding myself in this situation a bit. Oh! I saw the 6
Yeah, I
first.
saw the 6. I'm like, don't tell me.
Little mistake there, as we totally forgot about P1 on the heavy bolter. Luckily it didn't change the result. The sniping game continued here, and I really needed to drop another Marine. So I chose my cold blood here, and thanks to well equipped, he could actually use piercing shot here for free basically. Didn't cost him any equipment points, and he can use it twice a game. He also has toxic shot. Doesn't really help me in this instance. Still cool though. And this time I was adamant we were going to finish off Sergeant Marius.
4 attacks. 4 attacks here, hitting on 4s. 1.
Wow, that's gross.
Which you block automatically.
Yep.
The hot dice rolling just keeps coming for me. I was pretty tempted just to leave him on the vantage point to suffer his fate due to his failure. But, you know, I'm a nice guy, so in the end I decided to move him under the vantage point there, so he may survive a little bit longer. Brother Vignus did decide to ignore him for now, instead focusing his Overwatch on the bow hunter.
Let's go. That is garbage.
1 hit, okay. I'll save it because I've got auto
Come up,
covers.
yep, so it doesn't matter.
It was now time for the leader to get involved. The kill broker moved forward through that difficult area of terrain there, jumping over and then hitting the objective for 1 VP. He was going to be pretty exposed here for the rest of the turn. Headhunter was going to be a big issue heading into the next turn, but at least it wasn't going to be worth 2 victory points. I'm just really praying I get initiative next turn. Finally, Strike Force Justian's Overwatch was coming to an end. Sergeant Marius, who should be dead by now, and it was his turn to try and finish off the bow hunter.
Oh,
No
I needed a
crits.
crit.
What are the odds?
Where are my crits? I've not rolled many crits.
No, you
at
genuinely
all.
haven't.
Okay.
You have not unlocked P1.
Still
All right,
crits.
5 ups. One of them most.
I was gonna say, like,
Nah.
okay.
So 6 damage.
That's
Oh.
good. That's good.
So the bow hunter survives by the skin of his teeth. He may be in a bit of trouble early next turn. My last activation, I was torn between what to do here, and we did make a small mistake in the end. I was tossing up whether or not to loot the objective before I moved my Kroot warrior forward, or if I should be pushing forward, trying to get my recover item, which I was hoping to steal out from Sergeant Marius there. We did make a mistake in the end where originally I looted it, we went back, I forgot to change the dice back, but then in the end I moved forward, took the token out from Sergeant Marius to score me recover item, but I shouldn't have been able to do that. I didn't realize you had to control the object before you could pick it up. I just thought it was because it was my recover item, I could pick it up. So we do score this incorrectly here, but knowing that, I would have booped the objective, then just moved to a different spot. So it doesn't matter too much, but definitely a little bit of a change of activations and what I would have done there. That brings us to the end of Turning Point 2. What a bloodbath. Let's have a bit of a review. Now, before we go any further, I must take a second to thank today's video sponsor. It is Warzone Studios. They were nice enough to send me this amazing mat you see here, and there's a whole bunch to like about these mats that these guys put together. You can see it's actually got all the deployment markings. You can see it's got the center of the battlefield markings, all those different kill team specific measurements. If you choose, you can get them printed into the mat. I really love this because it means I don't have to have extra markers and dice on the battlefield showing off where things are. You know where the sides of the battlefield are, you know where the center is, so playing those objectives and working things out becomes a much faster and easier process. The other best parts though are the mats look amazing. Really, really great quality, super durable, and for me, super important, really immersive. They tie in beautifully with the terrain. There are a whole bunch of different options you've got, including you get your own prints made on them as well. Go check out the website. They've got a whole bunch of other stuff. They've got brushes, 3D models, but the main thing is those battle mats. Check them out. I'm sure you'll be able to find something on there that suits any type of tabletop game you're currently playing. If you want to check out more, there is a link below in the description. So one more big shout out to Warzone Studio for sponsoring today's game. What an absolute barn burner of a turn 2. A lot of damage, unfortunately, mainly to my guys. The big thing I was hoping for was maybe to take down maybe one more Marine, have another pretty badly damaged. But Sergeant Marius surviving and continuing to be the bane of my existence is definitely making it very difficult for me to score in general, but especially my tac ops, which will really require me, one, to hold the sides of the board, but also to be pushing forward. So they've done a great job of walling off a lot of the battlefield, so making my life a little bit difficult there. I've had a bit of bad luck with dice, but obviously you can't really complain about that because, well, it's a dice game and my opponents had a few rough moments as well. I really need to grab the initiative here to make sure that I don't lose my leader for nothing. If I can get the initiative, I can probably score another point and get him back into safety. Marine Flavius, the sniper up there, is really in a tough spot, and really there's not much I can do about him. The Kroot's AP or lack thereof, I'm really feeling at the moment. He's feeling brave enough to sit there and be in engage and know that it's going to take me 2 or 3 rounds of shooting to remove him. And he's pretty much removing a guy each time he shoots and now getting an extra set of Overwatch. I did score outflank for 1 VP, and I also was able to obviously recover the item. Incorrectly, I know, but hey, between you and me, we'll let me have this one for now. So that does bring the score 6-7, so it is really, really tight. I am just a bit worried about the fact that I'm running out of bodies, so those gambles that I took to get some kills definitely didn't really pay off, so I might have to try and be a bit cagier in this turn.
Thorns.
This is hey, I kind of really wanted that.
Yeah.
As the 1 revealed itself on my initiative roll, I knew I was in a little bit of trouble here. The Marines went with Devastator Doctrine again to improve their long-range shooting, while I went with Bound to improve my movement, hoping I might be able to navigate my way around the Marines. Next, the Marines revealed Executioner, placing it on my Kill Broker. I revealed my Kill Broker to be my Courier, as he was probably one of the only guys that was a chance to push forward and get that. Fingers crossed that maybe the sniper fails the kill. They also put Eliminate Guards onto the Kill Broker, so a lot really weighing on that poor Kill Broker and the results of him getting shot. Lastly, I did call the kill on Sergeant Marius because he just really needed to die. The biggest activation of the game was here. The Marines having the initiative selected Marine Flavor Flav, who lined up my Kill Broker to score big points.
So I'll use Mortar Shot, obviously. 1 AP.
AP.
So 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, and hang on, Devastator Doctrine.
Which means re-rolling 1 dice.
Reroll 1 attack dice.
Far out. He's got 9 wounds.
Okay, so he's reasonably tough.
A little bit tougher.
It's 3-4 with MW3. I need a couple of crits.
You get some crits is all
I
over.
need some crits. I've not rolled many crits in my shooting, so I need.
It's 1.
All
Alright.
Okay.
Quick bit of mathing, and unfortunately with the AP1 and now some mortal wounds going through, there was nothing the Kill Broker could do, so he's dead, and that's 2 more victory points for Executioner and Eliminate Guards And then to really rub salt in the wounds, there was also 1 VP for Headhunter. That is a 3-point kill. Doing my best to shake off the emotional damage there, I needed to put some points on the board and start trying to claw this game back before it got any further away from me. I selected my Kroot warrior, still carrying the objective token. I needed to get him as far away from possible, and thanks to Bound, I was able to move him, clear that light cover, and then loot for 1 VP. 3 APL is a hell of a thing, and the Marine showed how to put it to use with the heavy bolter Marine here, booping the objective, then aiming and taking some shots at the bow hunter.
First round shooting, second up threes. That's pretty gross.
That's a crit. So now you would have had 2 normal hits and a crit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even the Kroot's rogue ability couldn't save him here. Getting that extra AP with the crit really finished him off. Then with his last APL, the Marine dashed forward to put more pressure on my operatives. There was only one thing on my mind, and that was scoring victory points, so I grabbed the tracker, moved him forward, and looted the objective for a VP. If there's one thing that Sergeant Marius hates more than dogs, that's fun, and he definitely wasn't going to let me have any of that today. He turned around and chased the Kroot warrior and was going to engage him in mortal combat.
Oh, I do have the reroll against you too because of call to kill. So I'll do that. So 2 regs, I get the reroll. 2 into a 2.
There we go.
I think the first one does it.
I think he's dead.
Punt!
Well, after punching the suitcases out of that Kroot, Sergeant Marius decided to take a quick breather and wait for some Overwatch. It was time for me to score more points. So desperate here, I was willing to throw away another operative, so that's what I did. I grabbed my long sight, and again, thanks to Bound, I was able to move forward to that exposed objective, but snag another VP. Brother Vignes moved forward to objective number 2 and looted that for 1 VP. He then took aim at the long side who just put himself in harm's way.
Hey!
Ceaseless in Seattle. Yes! So he's got 1 wound left.
For the final activation of the turn, it was the Cold Blood's chance to get involved again and hopefully kill that dastardly Sergeant Marius.
P1. Alright.
Well, that's
Alright, and you don't have a thing? Yep, so basically, yeah, 2 go through, that's 6, yep, that's 7 damage.
cool.
He's dead.
He's dead.
Oh!
Finally.
Does that flip the game on its head? No. Do I appreciate it? Yes.
What a real emotional roller coaster that turn was. Unfortunately for the Kroot, a lot of things didn't quite go right. Namely, a lot of them died. And they weren't taking Marines with them, which is what I really needed to happen. I've continued to struggle with my tac ops there. Again, I'm going to finish this turn. I won't get recover item, and that token's probably unreachable now. I may have made a mistake running it further away from my lines. I probably should have run it back towards someone else. They could have done a little bit of a relay. And even outflank has been quite difficult to get because you do need to be pentagon away from your own deployment zone before you can score it. I may have not read that one too closely. This is why I don't usually play recon. Well, the Space Marines, they've actually finished off their tac ops. They've scored 5 out of the 6 points. They can't get any more. So I don't really know what I can do. It's 3 versus 3 heading into the last turn. One of my operatives is down to 1 wound. Not a great setup against the Marines, but I'm going to fight it out to the bitter end and hopefully snag a few more points to finish the game off. And if I can get initiative right here, hey, that could help a lot as well.
Yeah.
Oh!
No. Oh. No, that is unfortunate.
That's 2 turns in a row rolled. That's funny
They
as.
were critical. Like, needed points. You legit needed.
Yep, rolling another one, that definitely checks out. So the Space Marines will have the initiative here, but they're going to choose to save their CP. I'm going to spend 1 on Bound just because I feel like maneuverability is king, so maybe there's something I can do if I have a little bit up my sleeve. The day continues to get worse for me, but better for Marine Flavian as he lines up my long shot to win the sniping battle.
What a shot. You got 2s.
Yes.
Cool.
Oi.
After dispatching the long sight with ease, he then moves to solidify his place as the game's MVP by looting an objective. I'm really up against it here, so I just want to get some points. So I take the tracker, storm him forwards onto the objective in the middle there, loot that, and then do my best to hide. Brother Acule here cares not for objective scoring, he only wants blood, so he lines up my cold blood.
3 dice. Looking for 5s. Oh, it's not a good start.
No, it's not.
Oh! And importantly, not wounded. Because only 3 damage? Or was it 4? Oh, 4. Okay, he is wounded. No, yeah, still got it. 5 ups.
Well dead.
Well dead.
So the cold blood goes down in a hail of bullets, and that was my last guy that could score me any points. I did also not realize on this guy until I was looking at his data sheet, he's actually got an extra wound, so 9 wounds total. And of course he's got hardy, which lets him turn 1 critical hit into a normal hit when he's taking damage. So definitely have to keep an eye on that next time. So the last activation of the game is here. Brother Vignes just moves forward and loots that objective to give them a final VP. So there you have it, a final score of 14 for the Space Marines of Strike Force Justian to 10 for the Farstalker Kinband. Now let's head back to me in the studio for the wrap up. So there you have it, the battle is done. Once the dust has settled, it is Strike Force Justian that have come out on top. The power armored might of the Space Marines was just a bit too much for the spindly Kroot. A really fantastic game. I really enjoyed it, especially in that second turning point. I could really see I'd made some progress. I'd knocked a few of the Marines down. I thought, hey, things are going all right here. But then throw in some good Overwatch, some terrible dice rolling by me, and maybe not quite maximizing the synergies of what the Kroot can do. They came unstuck. Strike Force Justian are just such a consistent team. They really are that perfect beginner or starting team. They're Space Marine bodies, they're 3 APL, they shoot pretty well, they can all fight, lots of options to shoot twice, a really strong sniper model, and in this case, had a fantastic position looking over the board. Really meant that the poor Kroot pushing up were really hard against it. In retrospect, probably made a little bit of mistake going with Recon as well. I probably could have looked at maybe doing Seek and Destroy. I think I would have had about as much success. Originally, my thoughts were go away from Seek and Destroy because I was going to struggle killing them. In the end, I think I killed half their team, so 3 models, including the leader, so maybe a Headhunter was an option there, and that was quite early on. I thought the speed of the Kroot was going to come into it, but the Strike Force Justian did such a great job of being all across that center line of the board, and that really limited my ability to access things like Courier. I was really struggling to get my retrieve token as well. Having a Space Marine standing over the top was always going to cause a little bit of trouble. But that's it today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the bat rep. Please make sure in the comments below, head down, subscribe, like, and while you're in the comments below, make sure you leave what other teams you would like to see played in the future. As you can probably see from the display cases behind me, I've got most teams. I have an issue. It's a kill team issue, but it means I have most of the teams, and I've got plenty of friends who are willing to be the generals to run them. So let me see what matchups you might like to see, whatever teams you think maybe aren't getting enough representation on bat reps. Who do you want to see? We'll do our best to give them a run and make them look at least half decent. I'm still one of the kill team casuals, so we're only going to go so far with professionalism, but you know, we're here. And let's not forget a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Warzone Studios, who sent us that fantastic mat. It was an absolute gem to play on. I'll be using it a lot for future bat reps. I just like so much about having all those measurements on there. Works really well. Looks sufficiently grimdark. So thank you again to those guys for sending that through. Until next time, I need a catchphrase. Maybe chuck some catchphrases down the bottom of how I wrap these things up. I never really know. Bye.